For me, it's about a warm contact from the heart and humor with the other person. So that's really important. And then challenge this person and tease or provoke him or her, and positively. And you tease them or you provoke them positively. For me, it's not only a coach attitude or a therapeutic method, but always a way of living. For me, it's a way of living. I do it all the day. When I meet people, there is connection because I'm provocative. I really like it. Yeah. So that's for me really important about the provocative approach. You can do it in daily life. I will give a workshop about improvisations, provocative approach for coaching and therapeutic work, because of the improvisations and provocative work, it matched really good. When words does a good thing, but pictures or imagines or improvisations will be stronger for the client, and it's really good working. So that's what about the workshop? It will be about improvisations, to feel free, to play, to be sometimes a little bit weirdy, but it will set the right things for the client. I think everybody who wants to work provocatively, if it's a coach or it is a therapist, you can use the way of do this about improvisations really good. So if you work with more work questions or you work with psychology questions, just improvisations will match really good at the provocative approach. Well, one of the things is when I was on the education of provocative work, it was a lot about words, sentence, speed, flexibility in words. But now I want to raise them out of the chair and do a little play for the client, so they make images which are picture the brain and even more confusing or even more work, because when you do what the client thinks and you make a picture of it, it's really powerful to get a change. And that's what they learn in this workshop, to get out of the chair and do some pictures, imaginers, playing theater work, improvisations, so that the client sees himself through you when you do these things. And it's really powerful. It's better than words are fine, but I think come out of the chair and make it even better. I work with very different problems and teams. I work with groups, teams, couples, families, and individuals. It goes sometimes for development questions, for people who want to develop themselves, but also with people who have psychological problems like depression, anxiety disorder, or something like that. So I work over a whole range of problems and teams, and I think provocative approach is really good for the way of getting people better. Well, because I work with very different problems, I would rather tell you what, in my opinion, doesn't work for the provocative approach. I think for people who have autism, it's really hard to get on them with a provocative approach. And also when people have a psychotic or nearly psychotic, it's not good to do a provocative approach. But everything else, it's no problem. It's a good way if you have a warm heart and you have a a lovely connection, you can do a provocative work with a lot of problems and a lot of people. So I think, well, when people are doubt about shall I change, or they have a dilemma, then a provocative work is really good. One of my colleagues, where I work with every month, we do intervision. He says there are just lovely people. Everyone is a beautiful people. Is a beautiful person, and if you think and say that to yourself, then your warm heart will come open. And most of the time, when I see a new client, I take for him coffee or tea, and I am in the kitchen, I think to myself, this is the most beautiful person I ever met, and I really like him. And then I go into my room, and it's true. It is the most beautiful person ever, and I get this warm heart, so it's no problem. And when that happens, there is something magical between these two persons. Oh well, that's what I think is the most powerful moment of the provocative way of get coaching or therapy. You have to open your heart, and you have to think and feel you're a beautiful person. Well, we all start traditional and classical, but I think the provocative way is pure. You may say, you can say what you think. Sometimes you exaggerate it a little bit, and sometimes not more than a little bit, but a whole bit. And so divide the client. You want to, you have a relationship. I think in a provocative way, it's more like a friend. It's more like two people who connect from a good way, and then together you do this little dance to come out of the problem. And I think it put the client, and that's really different because than the traditional way. The responsibility will fall by the client and not on the therapist or the coach, the therapist or the coach. So it is an assertive way. The client has to be assertive. They have to stand up, and they can't go into a lay back and in a pity. They have to work themselves, because we don't do anything. And we don't give advices. We're just joking, fooling around, and make this mirror, this wonderful playing mirror for the client. So that's my opinion about the changing of the traditional way and the provocative way. Well, I can imagine, because one of the things I do in Holland, I give a summer course, and I call it the positive provocative coaching. Positive provocative coaching, because just because of the negative convictions of some people, when you do the provocative approach on the right way, it looks for the strong emotions. It has nothing to do with aggressive communication. It has to do with a warm heart, with playfulness, with respect. But I know some of the provocative coaches I think in the world, but also in Holland, they do more confrontation instead of provocative way of working. Provocative, the only thing you can do, and it's not confront. It's with a warm heart, with humor, with a lot of love, and then. So I can understand that some people think about this like it's aggressive way of communication, but when you do it right and that's why I call it positive provocative therapy, positive provocative coaching. You have always the choice to be negative or positive. And when you be positive, you can change the way and work the client on the goals. Also, it's better, I think. But I understand some people think, yeah. I think it's very important. What I mentioned before, I do every month. I do with my 5 colleagues, really good provocative coaches and therapists. I have this intervision, and when you start with your education, you get a lot of work for the group, and you get some supervision from someone who is better in and is a teacher in this provocative way. But I think when you want to grow, especially in this beautiful way of coaching and therapy, it's really important to get your own supervision. I have a lot of supervision from Jaap Hollander and Jeffrey Wijberg in Holland, and I give a lot of supervision, and I get a lot of supervision again from my colleagues, and I think I learn every day. It's beautiful. It's really important to get better and better every day. So, well, please, let me do a lot of supervision. The most important thing you have to pay attention to when you do these provocative sessions is the connection, the warm connection. Because provocative therapy of provocative coaching can be really nasty, really hard, and feels really not good when you don't have this connection. You have to have first a beautiful, warm connection with your heart to the people. And that's what you, in the sessions, you have always mark and feel, are we on the good side of the connection? So is there a beautiful, warm heart? Do we like each other? Do we feel good? And if that's so, then you can do provocative things what you want. But yeah, I think that's one of the most important. When I see some colleagues or I give supervisions to students, and it doesn't work. Most of the time it is because they are losing the contact, the connection. So one of the things, humor is also good, but first is the connection. Do you like the person? Do you have a good heart with him? Feel the connection is all right? And then you can do a lot of crazy things. But if you don't feel the right connection, you can't say scary things what we do when we do a lot beautiful provocative session. So yeah, for me is it warm-hearted with love, the connection. When you use humor, the brain will become more open. When you use humor in the right way, it relaxes the client, and it feels for the emotional brain there is no danger. So when you use humor on the right way, there is more a connection like two friends, and there are no defenses, less defenses for the client because there is this humorous environment, and then you can go really straight to the heart of the problem, and that's why humor is really important for this way of doing therapy of coaching. All the defenses are down because there is this beautiful humorous environment, and what really is important for me is that when you have this problem and you can laugh about it, you can bring it to a part of your brain where is this humor. It will make less pain. It will get softer and softer because, well, one of the really powerful way of provocative work is when a client has tears and a smile. Really good. Maybe I can tell you a little story about my own education. When I did my education for provocative therapist, we have to do an exam and we have to do a research. And we, with a little group, we interviewed several improvisation teachers and several provocative teachers. And in a way, we modeled them. It's about NLP. We modeled them. And the conclusion was there was a lot of common. The way of thinking and the basic attitude of an improvisation teacher or a provocative teacher is almost the same. They have the same basic attitude. And so they think, they look, they feel most of the same if they are improvisations or if they are provocative teachers. So when you put this together, you get more power because of, well, what I said some while ago. Words are fine. We are verbal and we are words, does something in the brain. But a picture or a statue or a little play have more impact on the brain. When you've been on holiday, you can make a little story about the holiday, but you always knew about some pictures. Oh yeah, I was there and it looks like this. And our brain will remember the picture really good. And when you can do it with a little provoke manner, and you make a picture of it, it is really changing. So that's why improvisations is really good, beside or as a part of the provocative way. Stay away from these workshops. Don't come, please, because who wants to be more effective, much better, and with more humor as a provocative coach or therapist? Just be glad what you know. It's okay. Don't go to this education. It's no good. I'm from Holland. It's a small country. Well, the quality will be not fine enough. I think I do this 20 years, so I'm a beginner. Yeah, and I'm almost 60 years old. So what will be an old man to teach? No, go away, don't come. And no. I really like to come, and I really like to work with an enthusiastic people, a group of people, and we get a wonderful time with a lot of love and with new sidekicks of provocative way. Improvisation is really good. If you feel it, well, you want to do it, and then the client or the patients will go better and quicker. So I really want to come, and I really want to see a lot of people. And kocham Jeroen. I hope it's Polish. Is it? See you.